Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week I checked out Amityville in Space, and this 2022 film was directed by Mark Polonia and stars Jeff Kirkendall, Titus Himmelberger, and Tim Hatch, among others of course. The story of this ville is about a house in Amityville, and Amityville's a place, so it's kind of fair use, and anyone can kind of use this name. So Mark Polonia here has taken Amityville and set a house in it. Of course, that house is the Amityville house, which is occupied by a spirit or a devil or something like that. And then there is this priest, and he goes into the house and confronts the devil, but of course is unable to defeat it. So in an act of desperation, he kind of prays to God and says, send this house away so this evil won't escape into the earth. And so just like that, the house is sent up into outer space, and then is found by a spaceship, I guess, with its own crew and whatnot, and they go and investigate. Of course, they are going to run into the priest who was stuck in the house, as well as the demon. What will happen, though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, with this one, I gotta say, I like the idea of it. Certainly, the Amityville house in space is a fun idea, and how it gets there I thought was fun as well. You just pray to God to send this house into outer space, and it happens. So that certainly was a fun thing to watch. Certainly gets you into it, especially at the beginning where that's really kind of what hooks you in these movies. So yeah, the premise of it certainly is good. Other than that, this is a Mark Polonia film, and he is certainly a well-known kind of B-movie, low-budget movie maker out there, and you kind of know what to expect. Sometimes it's better than others. Certainly with some of them, I think they're so artistic, or they really kind of work even with their low budget. With this one, maybe not so much, but there are certainly things to praise in this one. He's figured out his sound, so all of the sound is perfectly good, and that certainly works. The shooting, maybe there's a few too many close-ups, but they are in a house, and so you don't have much room to see anything, so the shooting I would say works as well. So yeah, those kind of technical issues certainly work in this one. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, if you're not familiar with Mark Polonia, I do think there are a few better ones out there. I would say this one's not bad by any standards of his, of course. There are some actually interesting things, like they have this demon that kind of has a transparent glow to him, and it kind of is reminiscent of an older movie. I think it was the Brain from Planet Arnis, I want to say, where I don't know if he's trying to mimic that style or whatever. It certainly works in that movie, but not necessarily in this one. The demon also does get a body out of nowhere, and you're just where does he find this alien body to inhabit or possess or whatever? It just doesn't kind of work into the story, or at least never explained. And so it has quite a few things like that in it, where it's just kind of stuff is happening and there's no explanation. Maybe it makes sense to Mark, but to the audience, maybe not as clear as it could be. And yeah, that certainly might be a problem. Also with this movie, I think with the sets, sometimes it seems like they're not even trying. They're just hanging tinfoil against the wall or something. It doesn't make it for a believable spaceship where there's no buttons, there's no screens on the wall. And even then, you think a spaceship would have hard walls, and sometimes they don't have the tinfoil, but then it's just drywall, and you're oh, this is any office building or whatnot. And so the sets ask you to take that imaginative leap to get to where you actually believe it's or at least think of it as a spaceship. And so that just kind of seems not very good. I know Mark Polonia's style is certainly like that, and of course you've seen other ones. You're kind of used to that type of stuff, especially with kind of its more sci-fi ones. And so, it's a leap that I don't think everyone's going to be able to make. What else can I say about this movie? It's a Mark Polonia movie. It's kind of what you've come to expect. I would say it's kind of just an average movie, kind of middle of the road for him. Nothing, too particularly special about it, but certainly nothing bad as I've seen in some of his other movies. So it's just a very middle of the road one. It does provide you with what you've come to expect from, something like Amityville in Space. Something silly, something ridiculous, something, low budget, certainly. But I think that low budget kind of comes into the overall effectiveness of it all. And so, yeah, if you're just looking for something silly, sure, why not? As for my recommendation, well, Mark Polonia fans, sure, you can go and watch this one. I do think, for a regular audience, stay away. Like, you're not going to like this one at all. You're going to think it's so weird and, low budget, low effort, but knowing who Mark Polonia is and knowing that style and being willing to kind of make these logical leaps and these imaginative leaps as well, yeah, sure, why not? You can press play on this one. I did watch it on Tubi, so it should be over there for you. As for rating, sure, I can give it a 3. It's a very meh movie, even for kind of Mark Polonia fans. It doesn't kind of stand out, I think, amongst his work. It's just kind of another entry, and that's, most of his films, but, it is very meh. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.